Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon, episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban, and this is it. Makoto backstory.
Yeah.
We're finally going to find out what his nose looks like, or whatever.
Yeah, right. We're a couple of magical people ready to moon prison power make up this episode. Sailor Noob is brought to you by Pink Lions with boobs.
I got nothing.
Yep. Yep. Neither do I.
That solves a question that I had, which we'll get to later.
Okay. All right. I can understand. I have an idea of what that question might be.
I mean, technically all lions have boobs.
These are human-shaped boobs. I didn't want... That doesn't sound as funny, so...
I guess we're getting into it now.
Yeah, well...
All mammals have boobs.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably an exception somewhere. Mm-hmm. But, yeah. But, so, covered.
Kind of.
It just didn't... It wouldn't have made it onto kids' TV if...
Right.
We had all the boobs, which is weird. Because suddenly you add... Humans screw everything up. This is ever since the garden. Wow, we really messed it up, didn't we?
Wow.
Because
going all the way back.
Because Beryl's mammalian characteristics can be hanging out the whole show. Fine.
Yeah, right.
But if you put 8 boobs on a lion, well, what do you get? If you can answer that question, you're in my comedy school.
Oh,
it's like in the old comics of the, if you can draw this turtle, you can be in this art school.
Right,
you
exactly.
Come up with a punchline for what happens when you put 8 boobs on a lion. No Siegfried and Roy jokes. You can be in my comedy school.
Right. Well, today we are talking about episode number 49, Shiroi bara wa dare ni? Tsukikage no Naito Tojo in Japanese. For whom is the white rose? The moonlight night appears. The English translation and the English title, A Night to Remember.
Oh, that's yep. Hold on, let me cross something off.
Yeah, right.
That would have been a good one.
Right?
Or lying down on the job. I don't know. Do we talk bad news?
Let's do it. Let's rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah. You got to move fast.
Mm-hmm.
Life moves pretty fast.
And
Ferris Bueller said
Juban.
35 years ago.
Right.
So we have enjoyed the luxury of watching these episodes in, what amounts to HD, I guess. It's a cartoon, but on Viz.com.
Yeah.
But apparently money got too good because Viz.com has partnered with exciting media outlets to provide anime for you. Here's a list of 13 providers that we have scattered in a cartoon diaspora, all of our content across for whoever wanted what. So a lot of mad Naruto fans, a lot of mad Sailor Moon fans. You can't get Sailor Moon for free on Viz.com anymore.
Yeah.
Now, we have it all on tape or Memorex or whatever, so it's not a big deal. But I just enjoyed the luxury of just dialing in Viz.com. They're all on Hulu. They've been on Hulu for a couple months now, I think, at least. But now they are exclusively on Hulu, is where you can watch all 5 Sailor Moon seasons. But the movies is a different story.
Oh, boy.
So those are all in different places, too.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Can't make it easy for the fans.
And it's all Hubo and TB and Flip Flop, and it's all the different places. All those things that you would never go there. We've all got Netflix.
Yeah.
But apparently Netflix, they've got their own anime. They're not paying for anybody else's anime.
Right.
So you can't get that. And so, yeah. Start looking at Hulu pricing.
Yeah,
How much for commercials?
I hate this.
I don't love it. Honestly, I was surprised that this didn't happen sooner. I mean, they were basically giving it away, and I think that they felt that even though we've got this show, we know it's not true. I think they felt like it didn't have any value. Like if this show's like
nobody's watching it.
No, the show's like 20, 25 years old.
25 this year, yeah.
And so can we, let's just give this away to support merchandise and stuff. And then, nope, that's not how it works anymore. All the digital fiefdoms are being constructed. And so, yeah, it's at Hulu right now. Year or two, maybe somewhere else. We don't know.
I guess it was too good to be true, but like they gave us like no warning, either, which is like,
well, it's, yeah, I mean, there are whispers of it, but
I guess,
what gets me is how unclear it is. So you're going to take
it's like all these different,
sure. And like there's 200 episodes.
Yeah.
So the chances are great that somebody like yours truly was involved in a rewatch of a 200 episode series. So when I dial in one day to go, hey, what's up with the where's the Sailor Moon? You just go arrow here and then
go over here. You can watch
over here.
Want to watch Sailor Moon?
It's $8.99.
Yeah,
for your next fix.
Right.
But that's not what it is. I clicked on every one of the provider links, and there is like 11 or 12. And some of them just literally went to Netflix.com. And then one went to like Tubi, TV/Naruto. Like, just throw them to Naruto and see what happens. So it's
it's unclear from what you were able to
sweet.
Search, like where Sailor Moon specifically
Hulu,
has
like
landed.
I said before.
Oh, Hulu. Yeah, right. Exclusively Hulu. So there you go, fans. Hey,
we will survive.
Yes.
Like the Sweet Maiden's policy.
Yes.
More on that later.
Would you like to give us a synopsis of this episode?
I would love to.
All right.
In this episode, we open on Tokyo night as Usagi pleads with Ami to have pity for this lost little bunny.
Yeah.
A little weird. She wants to know what's going to be on the big test.
Yeah.
But Ami gives her the ultimate authority figure answer. I can give them to you now, but if you don't understand the answers, you'll be in trouble later. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Usagi's worried because she's been failing in school, and she's like a drowning man grasping at a rope. And Makoto, who is also there, corrects her that it's grasping at straws, which continues this weird aphorism, malapropism game that they've got going on where somebody says a stitch in time saves face. And it's like, no, it's 9 or whatever. So I don't know if that's some Japanese language game. That's a mystery we haven't solved yet, but we'll get there someday, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure either. I feel like Ami usually has the answers to them, like she knows all of those, but I don't really know what the point of that is.
But it's been between Rei and
Minako
and Minako and Ami, and so they're all sort of doing it.
Yeah.
Mako also says Usagi is asking too much of her, but Usagi is like, you came here for the test answers too,
right?
You big redwood. You're dumb. We need these answers. Ami scolds them, saying, "Yes, we're going to be in 9th grade next year. I think."
Yeah, right.
Whatever. You guys have to be responsible. And Usagi says, "Don't worry about that when I'm in 9th grade." Solid thinking. You're going places, kid. Like the 9th grade. Maybe. We don't really know. We don't know. A scream is heard from across the street. We're in a park. Very dangerous to be in parks in this town. In this dystopia.
Very dangerous Tokyo. To be in this dystopia.
Parks are death. A man is being attacked by an evolved Pokemon. Does it look like a Pokemon with boobs?
Yes.
It looks like a pink... looks like a pink Arcanine. What is, or is a psychic type, probably, right?
Probably.
If it's pink. I don't know anything about Pokemon.
I don't know. I've actually read something else about this episode, and somebody else thought it looked like a Pokemon, too. So, yeah.
Well, it shouts its name, Falion.
Yeah.
Which is a very Pokemon-sounding name.
Yeah, right.
And a weird two-dimensional wheel is, like, floating above it, which starts spinning around, and it turns transparent, or like it sort of like glows. It has that like, oh, it's a star in a cartoon. Mako runs in to help and apparently knows the man being attacked, who is named Shinozaki.
Yes.
The Yoma uses leap attack, very effective, and Shinozaki pushes Mako out of the way. Not necessary, but he does it anyway. He falls over a ledge, hits the ground, and there's a pool of blood under him. Intense. Definitely cut out in the Deke dub. Falion, Jimmy Fallon yells, Fallon! and is sucked into the spinning wheel and disappears. So the wheel is like a Pokeball. See, I get this. Mako cradles Shinozaki, but he doesn't look very alive. We get an ambulance montage. It looks like they're out of type O blood. And Mako says, I'm type O. I'm optimistic and outgoing. And they use her blood for a transfusion. Oh my God. This is the origin of He-Hulk. He gets a transfusion from this burly girl. Now he'll need a custom jockstrap. Katsu Sando for lunch every day. That's my secret, Cap. I'm always hefty. Across town at Juban Odyssey in the space room. Gotta get one of those space rooms. All these houses in the 70s had space rooms in them. We hear flute music and we see Falion floating. I'm going with it.
Yeah.
Floating near the Makai tree. Falion's wheel spins and it releases energy into the tree, which glows with the light of human souls.
Yeah.
Its leaves perk up and it starts dripping juice again. The good old days are back. Falion returns to cardigan form and Ail says to An, a wheel that spins happiness and unhappiness, the wheel of fate. Now we have to watch out for these beautiful warriors. And An is like, beautiful? And Ail's like, terrible enemies. We have to keep ourselves secret. And they kiss. It's like the first, it's been implied that there's a relationship, but that's the first sort of like romantic gesture we've really seen between them. In the hospital, Mako is still giving up that blood. And she says Ami and Usagi can go home and study. But Ami is like, no, I'm good. Don't need to study. And Usagi's like, same here. Won't make a difference anyway. Ami says, who is he, Mako? And Mako says, someone important to me. Oh boy, here we go.
I know, right?
She continues, it's different. I met him when I was dumped by one of my boyfriends. We see a rain-soaked playground. All my boyfriends. And an original song starts. And this is Makoto's image song.
Yes.
Which we've talked about, called Not Your Fault.
Yes.
Which is like not a good image. Come on, strong women, that's not good. Independent ladies, that's an image song. Not like, no, it was me, it's me. And it goes essentially, whenever I see someone like you, my heart starts pounding. There's a guy with Makoto in a gazebo, but we don't see his face. Now we can reconstruct it from these other characters that she's talked about.
My goodness.
And it would look something like this. Look behind you. No. But we don't see his face. And he leaves her there. But another guy puts an umbrella over her head. And this is Shinozaki. Or as he will now be known, Friendzone-chan.
Oh.
Mako says he's always been there when she was in pain or trouble. Sounds like Friendzone-chan.
Oh my God, Friendzone-chan!
Usagi's like, oh, you're in love? And Mako's like, no, it's something deeper. Friendzone-chan. At Usagi's house that night, she says to herself, I'm going to restore Mamoru's memory with my power. And Luna comes up and says, hey, meeting at the shrine tomorrow, talk about what happened today. Are you studying? Oh, no, you're just drawing pictures of you getting married to Mamoru. No!
I know.
The next day at the shrine, Luna tells the girls, all right, we know the enemy wants human energy. And Artemis says, confirms, I think, for us, the Dark Kingdom was destroyed, so this is something new. You got it.
Yeah, right.
Ami is like, maybe it's related to that weird meteor 2 weeks ago, Ever the Pragmatist. Mako says, it doesn't matter who it is. And she punches one of the house supports, and Rei's like, okay, Mako smash, calm down.
Yeah, I know.
Usagi's late. She's running to the shrine, and on the way, she sees An in human form asking Mamoru to disco, or karaoke.
Yes.
Usagi slides in like,
super out of touch.
Mamoru, please remember. And she tells him the whole story of Earth and the Moon and Endymion and Serenity and Tuxedo Mask. And An is like, what is this, a manga for girls? Wait, Mamoru, come back. Usagi watches them go, and she's like, what if he falls in love with her? A ticking clock. We have a ticking clock now.
Yes.
Just then a rose appears before her, held by Ail.
Yeah.
In human form, he says, you're too pretty to cry. Here's some news. Congratulations, I love you very much. Our love is eternal. We'll sail among the stars. And for a second, it seems like she might be in. But she drops her drawings and suddenly remembers herself and says, gotta go. She takes off. At the shrine, Rei is trying to divine the source, like as in divination, the source of the evil aura. And she produces an image of Falion.
Yes.
And Mako's like, yeah, that's the bastard. And the girls run out of the shrine in full costume past an out-of-breath Usagi who's just arrived. And they're like, the party's this way. Usagi transforms because you can always kill 45 seconds in an anime. I wonder if she gets extra energy when she transforms. But I think like she's renewed. But I think the answer is no. Because as the girls continue chasing the aura, Jupiter is suddenly overcome.
Yes.
She gave a lot of blood last night. 9 pints of blood.
That's a lot of blood.
The doctors had never seen so much blood in a person. Friend zone looked like a Macy's parade balloon. Usagi says, go home. I'll work extra hard for both of us. And Jupiter says, thanks, but I can't let anybody else end up like friend zone. And they all run off. They need sailor bikes or something.
Yeah, that'd be
Moon,
cute.
Prism, where's my bike?
Have little bells, and they could have like streamers that go with their colors of their uniforms.
Very toyetic.
Yes.
In another park of death.
Yes.
Falion has cornered a couple, and I don't think you have to be in love anymore. I think these two are siblings or something. Like, it's fair game.
Yes.
It's open season.
Yes.
Just before the Yoma can strike, the Sailor Senshi appear. Jupiter says, everyone has a test tomorrow. I can't forgive you. She fires up a shoe cream sundae. She could have used a shoe cream sundae and a cookie after all that blood she gave last night.
No kidding.
Before she can fire it off, Falion blasts her with its breath weapon, knocking her down. Rei is like, oh, hell no! She says the Kuji-in, and she tosses a prayer slip. But here's the thing. Falion shreds it just by looking at it, like its eyes go,
I know! It's like, what?
That's bad news.
Yeah.
Venus powers up the crescent beam, but Falion just keeps spamming, Falion, and all the girls just get taken out. Usagi's in trouble. Falion is getting up close and personal, licking the chops. Looks bad, but a single white rose sinks into the ground at Falion's feet. Perched high in a tree, backlit by the moon, we see a guy in a turban and a white robe and a mask. And there's a little Arab flute to go with the suspicious castanets in this theme.
Yes.
He says, the moonlight is for lovers, not monsters. And Usagi's like, who are you? And he replies, I am the Moonlight Knight.
Uh-huh.
That's a little chunky. But that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
And they're having a moment.
Yeah.
From 20 feet away. He's in a tree.
Yes.
But that moment is broken as Falion leaps at the White Knight. But the Knight leaps up, and he throws his curved sword through Falion's wheel, breaking it and making Falion collapse from laughter. I don't know what Falion's pronouns are. I mean, you mentioned the boobs before, so I guess we'll just go with she.
Falion is a she.
Okay.
Yes.
So she collapses.
Uh-huh.
The Moon Knight says, we must speak later to Usagi, and takes off. Falion gets up. She's a little punch drunk. Falion. But then she lashes out at Usagi, pitting her with her claws. That's when Jupiter awakens, sees her friend in danger. She sees a vision of friend zone in the hospital.
Yes.
She calls for the extended version, director's cut of Supreme Thunder, with all the extra words. This is the Supreme Thunder Supreme with sour cream. And she destroys Falion. With a weak cleansing, Falion returns to card form.
Yes.
Jupiter stumbles, but she's okay.
Uh-huh.
She and Usagi embrace. And the other girls are okay, too.
Yes.
They just get up. At the hospital the next day, the girls stand in the door, and Usagi says, aren't we going to go in and say hi to Shinozaki? But Mako says, well, he's always watching me from afar, and he's a little clingy. So I'll stay here for today. Release him, Mako. Let him go. Just let him find some pity in your gigantic heart for this poor man. That night, Usagi wonders, what's really going on between Mako and Shinozaki? Well, Usagi, when a girl and a boy that is shorter than her get together.
Oh, my goodness.
No? Okay. Usagi wonders if a friendship can exist between a girl and a boy that's different from love. She also wonders what the deal is with the Moonlight Knight. Yes. And her math book appears in front of her face because Luna's holding it up because she's got a test tomorrow.
I know.
Math is harder than love, she exclaims. The end.
I did appreciate the book just appearing out of nowhere as she's pondering, like, what is going on?
And all the equations swirl like we've seen constellations and stars do.
Yeah,
before.
exactly. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I guess any questions about this episode?
I always have a ton of questions.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's do it.
Well, so how many people from your past can a 14-year-old have? You're in your past. I know it's like a convention or a trope, but
I know.
Kid, big swig of milk. You don't want to hear that story. Like it's just like
candy cigarette.
Yeah, by 5 seconds you beat me.
Did I tell you that like Nako Takeuchi actually I think I told you about this. But she actually drew Mako with a candy cigarette once.
Oh, really?
And she originally wanted her to be I can't remember the word right now, but it's like a female gang leader.
Okay.
Which is kind of why she has like the long skirt, because that used to be a signifier for
female gangs.
Yes, because they
look out, everybody! It's the ankle lengths coming through.
Well, because it's like, oh, they're wearing their uniforms different and stuff like that, and it's not, But and so she would have smoked a cigarette and everything, but she decided not to go that route.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
No candy cigarettes. That's dumb. That's like a Philip Morris plot, No. Just draw the toothpick. Toothpick's fine.
Toothpick's fine.
Or a long thing of grass.
Yes.
Do they do that in Japan? I feel like I've seen like a samurai with a.
I feel
grass.
like they haven't they showed One Piece with like a piece of grass, like the kid from One Piece.
There's one piece of grass in his mouth. That's how he got his name.
Wow.
This is from One Piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I get it. Here's a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the pre-canned transformations and stuff that are like a couple years old at this point.
Yeah.
Are they drawing the characters more stylized? I mean, it's always been stylized, but they seem a little more. The edges seem a little more round. There's probably a term for it. I don't mean like chibi, but like it seems a little more cartoony. I don't dislike it. I just think that it's a little both. I said rounder, but it's also like tighter, because when you look at the original manga by Takeuchi, it's a lot of lines. And it's very flowy, and not meant to be a sharper kind of style or line. And I feel like this is becoming more anime, like by the episode.
That's a really great question that I don't know the answer to.
Yeah, well, all right, just an observation. And one more thing.
Yes.
We don't get anything about our villains at this time, really, except for
not really.
They are, whether or not we see the Cardigans and their discussions about this, they're still working. Like we join a soul reaping in progress, and they have succeeded. So the girls seem to be way ahead of where they were in last season at this point, but they still need to pick it up because these guys are getting away with this.
No, you're right,
and I don't mind. I know that in 3 episodes we've seen that they are like complete sociopaths, but I kind of like their style. Yeah. They got like a cool, weird way about them. I kind of like them.
Like, in what way do you mean, like, a cool, weird way?
Because, like, Beryl is just like, boo, ha, 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 ha.
I am evil. Yeah.
And, like, the generals, the kings were fun because they had their little internecine squabbles and they're, like, petty and bitch and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
But, like, these two, like, first of all, they're just fighting for their own survival. I mean, even a shark has to eat. That's why it bit you.
Yeah.
And I like that they're both in love with pre-established characters. And like I could see, I don't know where this is going to go, but I could see, well, it's a love tesseract.
Yes. Yeah, right.
Write it down.
Yeah.
And I could see them like not being, the main bad guys, something else happening, them teaming up. I could see them being like anti-hero characters.
Yeah. I totally get where you're coming from. I did want to mention just briefly, the Makai tree was called the Doom tree, 2 words.
Bangarang.
In the original Deke dub, and no, the hip hop group Doom Tree, 1 word, does not take its name from Sailor Moon. I checked. Okay. I would love if that was true, but according to them, it's supposedly a made up word, and it has come to mean like their fans.
Would a rap group watch Sailor Moon?
Well, but one of the DJs, and I told you this before, his name is Laserbeak, which is a transformer.
It's a Decepticon, but
a Decepticon,
that's fine.
Yes. So I'm just saying. There's some cartoon imagery there.
Let's dish on Maiden's Policy lyrics, English lyrics.
Okay.
It's a yawn. It's nothing really. It's just, first of all, like, you know, what does any of the lyrics mean anyway? Because you can see them interpreted or translated in a lot of different ways. And Japanese songs are always crazy. Like what?
Yes.
Like Japanese singers just go into like a trance state or something when they sing because it just never means anything. Like it's just weird.
Yeah.
You know, the young spirit of a girl is a eagle flying through maple syrup or whatever. And it's like, what? But this is the essentially it's saying to never give up. This is the Sweet Maiden's Policy.
Yeah.
For the person I'll cherish, I'll leap into the fray. My heart aches. Love will awaken. Afraid of nothing. Be passionate for big dreams. It's just a bunch of like kitty posters, you know?
Yeah.
Hang in there, baby.
Right.
Be brave. Do your best. Sometimes tears, but be brave. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Not super earth-shattering or anything like that. It's...
Yeah, no, I don't think Doom Tree could turn that into anything.
It would be a challenge.
Put a beat under there.
Let me just
give me a beat
that way.
How would you describe Just Enough Trope? We are the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
Oh no, does this mean they can hear all the things I yell at the TV during Downton Abbey?
Why did you do that?
How do you plead?
Let the game begin. Yeah, check these fresh moves. Oh!
Don't shoot man in face.
This isn't the Save Gotham fundraiser.
It's the Chill Family Reunion.
Master Yoda assigned a Padawan to this bold Jedi.
I believe it's pronounced Padawan.
Oh, Padawan, excuse me.
Hey, it's getting late. I think Ralph's going to want his motorcycle back.
Go jerk off the pictures of Dean Gray.
I am freaking getting old.
Yeah, I noticed the life clock was blinking in your hand.
Get out of here, Wilson. Go fight the Teen Titans or something.
I'm unkillable, not unwoundable.
You like Sailor Moon, right? Why don't you sail on his
Wow.
Just Enough Trope. News, reviews, and geek fondue. Every Monday on the Just Enough Trope podcast network.
Loving me never have a say. You so be sorry.
What? For Kyoro Kyoromiru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, today I thought we would talk about blood type personality theory in Japan.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
Yeah!
This was a very confusing thing for me when I was growing up and enjoying Robotech and living my life.
Yeah.
And then I have to know that Rick Hunter has AB positive blood. And I'm like, well, I guess he's in the military, but like, why? Why do I know that Minmay is B minus?
Right. Why is this a thing? Yeah, we will unpack all of that.
Blood pack.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We'll drain the knowledge from the veins. Wow. Let's get the knowledge.
Okay.
I'm a little lightheaded.
All right, so here's the knowledge. I'm going to lay it on you. So in this episode, Shinozaki needs a blood transfusion, and he is blood type O. We learn that Mako is also blood type O, and she proceeds...
Universal donor.
Yes. And she proceeds to give her friend Shinozaki blood. But did you know that unlike most people in Western countries, most Japanese people know their blood types and believe that they indicate people's personalities, dispositions, and how well they will get along with others?
I'd heard of that.
Yeah. So this is known as blood type personality theory, and it is a superstition which is comparable to how astrological signs are considered as affecting factors in a person's life in other countries. The idea that personality traits were influenced through one's blood goes all the way back to ancient times when the theory of humorism, which may have come from either ancient Egypt or Mesopotamia.
Oh, really? King Tut.
Yeah, well, apparently
he's friendly, but sometimes a little shy.
Well, I mean, it maybe it doesn't go back exactly that, but that kind of like the idea of it, right? Hippocrates, a Greek physician.
Hippocrates.
Oh, gosh dang it! Let me do it again.
No, it's okay, Bill and Ted. Keep going.
Shut up. Hippocrates, a Greek physician who lived from 460 to 370 BC, believed that certain human emotions, behaviors, and moods were caused by a surplus or shortage of bodily fluids called humors, which he classified as blood, yellow bile, black bile, and phlegm. And the Greek physician Galen then later came up with the classifications of sanguine, phlegmatic, choleric, and melancholic.
Mm-hmm. Which is like, well, you're going to talk about this. But
go ahead. I'm not going to go into it very much.
It's just okay. Well, then I was pre-med in college.
Yes.
So I've heard about this, and then also I was later I was a humanities major in college.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, same stuff.
Right,
Because
which is weird.
Because it's in writing. No, it's not weird because people knew nothing about medicine for a long time.
Okay, fair.
And that's why, like, Hippocrates came up with this in the 3rd century.
Oh my God,
BC
I can't believe
or whatever.
I said
and
that
then
like that. Yeah.
And then Galen got it all together. And then this just stayed for like 1,500 years.
A
People
really
were like,
long time.
these are the rules.
Right.
We're never going to learn anything else.
Right.
Also, sperm are like a little man inside of a thing, and he's just driving around. Sure.
Sure. That's how it works.
Thanks for bleeding my uncle to death. Thanks.
So fast forward to 1927, Takeji Furukawa, a psychology professor at Tokyo Women's Teachers School, published a paper called The Study of Temperament Through Blood Type in the scholarly journal Psychological Research. Furukawa began to question the school's entrance exam system, which at the time was constructed only on academic aptitude. Imagine that.
Yeah, well, we don't need that.
He wanted.
What are your hobbies?
Well, he wanted a system that also took into consideration the applicants' personalities. The notion of blood type personality theory rapidly became popular within the Japanese public, in spite of Furukawa's lack of credentials. Furukawa's study was seriously flawed as it utilized an extremely small sample size, defective statistical methods to reach its conclusions, and no control group.
And general goofy thinking.
Well, it is what it is. Interest in the blood type personality theory waned in the 1930s, but it was renewed in the 1970s with a book by Masahiko Nomi called Ketsuke Gata de Wakaru Aisho, or Understanding Affinity by Blood Type. Nomi was a journalist with no medical or scientific background. He graduated from the engineering department of the University of Tokyo.
Just a step down every time. Ruffles the dog said, "Ruff, ruff, ruff." People were like, that's a good point about blood personality.
I know, but this book became...
Bazooka Joe.
I know! This book became a bestseller and assisted in spreading the theory more extensively and he had multiple books. His son went on to write multiple books on the same topic.
Is this what you come up with when you are a monoculture?
I was going to get to that.
Oh,
actually.
Oh, come on. I'm going to get a sticker.
You're going to get a sticker. I'm just going to jump forward to that. Masao Omura, a professor of personality psychology at Nihon University, suggests that the reason for the popularity of blood type personality theory in Japan is because the Japanese are genetically quite an unvaried race, but want to seem more diverse.
Yeah, when you're a melting pot of cultures, you can say, well, that's the fighting Irish in me or whatever.
Right.
And I'm not saying that that's like not racist or politically correct or not ignorant, but but when you don't have that, it's like my blood.
Right. Exactly. So, I think that is a huge factor as to why this is so popular in Japan. And by the 1980s, the subject was showing up in media like magazines, music, and TV shows. It should be noted, however, that to date, there has not been enough statistical data to prove the blood type personality theory is anything more than a pseudoscience.
At this point, it's a fun thing.
It's just, it hasn't been conclusive, it just hasn't been handled, like out there have been scientific studies done by scientists, but it's just like, well, we can't really prove that that's, really what's going on here. We don't know that that's a for sure thing. or not.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's not. Why would it be?
Yeah.
And, if you don't have, you just have an idea. It's like flat Earth.
Yeah.
Earth is flat. It's like, well, no, it's not. I mean, that's my equations. I'm a rocket scientist in this scenario. My equations didn't program for a flat Earth. Well, you just don't understand how the equations work. Okay, so I mean, we're into religion at this point. Like,
well,
I mean, you can't disprove religion. I can't prove it's true or not true. So believe what you want, but don't design a rocket because it's not going to work out for you.
Right.
Oh, the sticker that I got, by the way.
Yeah, what is the sticker that you got?
Correctly guessing where you were going to go with the Kira Kira Miru is a Sailor Jupiter booty shot.
There you go. It's cuter than that.
I think I'll just give it to you.
She's doing like a peace sign behind her back.
I don't think I can get away with this.
I think it's fine.
She's trying to keep the flap of her skirt down with the back of her hand.
I don't think that's what's going on. But
I'll post it on Instagram. People look out for my booty shot Sailor Jupiter sticker.
So now I will briefly describe the different blood type personalities, and it's okay if you don't know if you are positive or negative. Well, that is crucial in medical situations.
In this BS situation, no problem.
It is not a factor here at all. So that being said, there are considering that, then there are only 4 different blood types. Blood type A, which is 40% of the Japanese population, tend to be earnest and like to keep things neat and in order, but can be headstrong and get stressed out easily. They also value getting along well with others and keeping the peace. Blood type O, which is 30% of the Japanese population, are extroverted and are said to have a natural leadership ability. They do not care much about the small stuff in life, and as a result can sometimes be insensitive towards others and are also sometimes seen as being conceited. Blood type B is 20% of the Japanese population. They are known for their creativity and their optimism. They also have a strong curiosity, but they also lose interest easily. They are not afraid to speak their minds regardless of other people's opinions and feelings, and do not like to follow the rules and can be seen as selfish and irresponsible. Blood type AB, which is 10% of the Japanese population, they are considered a hybrid of A and B and thought to be 2 different personalities mixed together.
Whoa.
They are seen as being talented and enigmatic, but also dual-natured and unpredictable. In Japan, blood type personalities are a very popular subject in women's magazines as a way of measuring relationship compatibility with prospective or present partner. According to the theory, certain blood types match well and encourage better relationships romantically or otherwise.
Does it stand in for astrological signs?
They have that too.
Okay.
So they have both.
And they've got their zodiac signs too. Or is it they just swap one for the other? Are you a chicken or you're a Libra or whatever?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Chicken Libra.
Chicken Libra.
That's I'll make that later.
I honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know if it's more popular to use the quote unquote Western astrology or Chinese astrology,
well, like or
maybe both.
I can see them. Well, they like a lot of Western stuff.
I feel like I've seen
I can see
Western
them drawing the
stuff.
line at like spirituality, but then go to Japan, a lot of crosses over there. So
I feel like I've seen like Western astrology, but I can't remember off the top of my head like Chinese astrology.
They got Gene Dixon. So, yeah, they're fine.
So
all right.
Lots of Japanese dating sites encourage you to list your blood type on your profile. There are even dating services like Exciting Blood Type Gokuen that are modeled entirely around blood type compatibility.
Blood date.
Yeah, well, it's not quite that bad, right?
It sounds better in the original Japanese.
Right. Morning TV shows feature blood type horoscopes, and similar horoscopes are printed daily in newspapers. The blood types of Japanese celebrities are noted in their info boxes on Japanese Wikipedia for quick references.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and it should...
Or singers, pop stars.
Right. And it should be noted that blood type personality theory is also popular in other East Asian countries besides Japan, most notably in Japan, but specifically South Korea is probably the next most notable.
Yeah.
And Facebook in many Asian countries permits users to list their blood type on their profiles.
Okay.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. Asking one's blood type is extremely common in Japan, even when you first meet someone. This is a question that is meant to try to get to know someone better. Japanese people are usually kind of taken aback when non-Japanese people do not know their blood type. I have been asked what my blood type was before by Japanese exchange students when I was in high school, and I didn't know at the time or understand why I was being asked either. I have been asked multiple times and once received some incense as a gift that was specifically meant for a certain blood type. I can't recall if they were my correct blood type or not, but they smelled very good.
Huh.
And I guess I'll share. I'm blood type A, and I think for a lot of the things, it seems to correlate with me to some extent because they get stressed out easily. That's me for sure.
That's what they're earnest and neat, and you go right for.
I know. Well, I'm earnest, but like I can be neat and organized, but there are a lot of areas in my life where I'm not neat and organized, so it doesn't necessarily totally fit me. Do you want to share yours, Cal?
Yeah, I am in type A as well.
Okay.
I am not any kind of Marie Kondo.
Right.
But maybe some of the other good stuff?
Yeah, right.
No, I'm not what the Japanese call majime, serious or sober. I'm not.
But you're kind of, you can be earnest.
Do I throw myself into relationships? Is that like the danger section of the dating websites? Like,
I don't know.
Are you sure? Are you sure you want an A? Okay.
Well, I think that you could take that as like you're fully committed, right? That's like a positive.
Oh, you're
spin
not
on
like,
that.
oh yeah, whatever. We're just dating.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah, I could see that.
I don't know. I'm not sure I totally go for it. This is like, and we should, and we are going to, right? We're going to try to guess the sailor's blood types.
Yes.
But I think just before we do this, here comes Captain Wet Blanket.
Go for it.
This is what. See, we just did ours, and we're like, oh, it's kind of like that. I guess I'm kind of like that, but it doesn't really.
Doesn't totally fit.
Doesn't seem to really overlap or match. Plus, these don't match or overlap at all. And I know that blood is different than like when you're born, but like people try to look at the like the zodiac signs and go, oh, well, you know, I've got a good head on my shoulders, but sometimes I can be a little flighty. It's like those are two opposite things.
Yeah, right.
So whichever one you identify with, you can latch onto.
Right.
And these things, I don't know a better word than prey on our desire to find patterns within things, which separates us from the chimps and the other higher primates.
I see what you're saying.
And so that's why they work on us. But at least we've got 12 things. This is 4 things. I mean, Japanese people should be smarter than this. Come on.
I know.
It's just 4 things.
That is true.
What if there was 2 things? Oh, wait. Type A and Type B personality.
I know,
I'm a
right?
Type A, B. I'm a combination of both.
I know, right?
I'm a Type O. I'm not playing this game. But I am playing this game, so...
Well, I just want to mention really quick before we get into it, so that it is really popular among anime and manga creators to disclose their character's blood type and to give their characters' blood types that correspond with their personalities.
Yeah.
So it's not like they figure out their blood type and then figure out their personality. No, I mean...
Well, when you're going the other way, it's easy, though.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
When you're O and you're kind of like an A, but you're also an O, then you have to, like, that's up to you.
Right, exactly. Some video game characters also have known blood types. It is popular for video game series to allow blood types as an option in their character building modes.
Yeah, your blood is red.
Yeah, right.
Your
and it's
shield
all over.
is blue. Yeah.
Right. So, of course, in Sailor Moon, it should come as no surprise that the main cast has known blood types. So we know Mako.
But we're gonna do the game. So I guess you know the letters. So I guess I'm playing the game.
You're playing the game.
All right. So
Cal is playing the game.
We do know Mako's. We know that she's O.
Yes.
Whether or not she
do you think that fits?
Sociable and optimistic could be any of the Sailor Senshi.
I think she's outgoing.
What makes me think that this doesn't work at all is that the worst traits for type O are being vain, which she is not, or rude. It depends on your definition of rude. She is like often socially not. She wears a baseball cap, whatever.
She can be rude. She's kind of rude when she first met Usagi. She wasn't like overly warm or anything like that.
When they had lunch.
Right before they met. Well, I guess.
But she was fighting. She was in a gang fight when that was happening.
Yeah.
And as far as like, it's all semantics because it's like jealous. I don't feel like she's jealous. Maybe if she saw somebody with Crane Master Joe
or Senpai.
No. And then like arrogant. There's arrogant and but she's like she's righteous.
Yeah. I don't say that's the same
righteous,
thing.
Bro.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Well, open mouth, insert foot.
Okay.
So, okay.
All right. What do you think Usagi is?
Usagi.
Yeah.
Usagi is. I'm going to go right to the worst traits. Passionate and strong, selfish and irresponsible, and unforgiving. She can't forgive you. She's going to punish you. She's got to be type B. She's type A.
Nope.
She's AB.
Nope. She's O.
Well, I definitively failed at that one. And type AB. Now listen to this. And maybe we have two different charts that we're working off of.
Yeah.
Type AB. Best traits. Cool. Controlled. Rational. Sociable. Adaptable. I don't want to fill in the blank. Doesn't sound adaptable to me.
Well, she's definitely not AB. Yeah.
Worst traits, vain, rude, jealous, arrogant.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of fits, but 3 words, 4 words. 3 words for best, 4 for worst. Type A has like 7 words. So type O is like the second one, right?
Yes, that's the second largest.
That's a genetic thing, too, because type O in America is the most people have type O.
Yeah,
blood.
type O and type A are the largest
Yeah,
group
but in
of
Japan,
Americans.
A is the most.
Yeah.
So like the larger the sample space, the more words you can safely throw in. The smaller, the less you need. But type
True.
O, which is the second biggest, on my chart only has 3 traits: agreeable, sociable, and optimistic.
Yeah, that's weird.
Which is like, all right, well, do I fit in there? I don't know. Whereas type B, which is or type AB, which is the least common blood,
10%.
has 5 for both best traits and worst traits.
Yeah, so
So you really got to land right in the middle of AB when you're just combining A and B, I guess. But these are totally different on this chart. I hate this whole thing. This is dumb. All right, let me lose
Shall
4
we
more
continue?
times. Let's go. Or 3 more times.
okay,
Let's go.
what blood type is a me?
A me is type B.
No, she's type A.
Ah.
Yeah, so she's shy, organized, earnest, sensitive, responsible, reliable.
All right. Well, that's a gimme.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
I
randomly guessed.
That's okay. How about Ray?
I'm going to randomly guess again.
Okay.
Because on my chart, there's a girl and her arms are folded like this. She doesn't look happy. So I'm going to say AB.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah!
You got it.
Thanks, cartoon picture. See you at the LSATs.
So, AB are, they're cool. They're, yeah, I know.
Is Snoopy AB?
Yeah, maybe. They're artistic. They're spiritual. They're calm. They're popular. So yeah,
Ray's
that's
the only one that actually gets a date. So
yeah, well,
at least in the first, yeah,
that's
episodes.
true. That's true. What about Minako?
Oh, there's one more. Damn.
Yeah, and
okay, Minako.
Mamoru, if you're up for it. Mamoru has one too.
Oh God. Okay.
But that's it.
All right. I would say Manako is type B. Here's why. Because they're considered to be independent. She works alone. They're creative. They're animal lovers. She lives with Artie. And they're optimistic. And that's why I think that she's a type B.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay, this might
correct.
be... This chart I found has girls in colored outfits. Now, that the colors don't... This B was green on this, so it doesn't help at all.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking maybe this is tailored towards... Or maybe... We found the text. This is what Naoko Takeuchi was working off of.
Yeah, right.
She's like, it's got a little bird on the shoulder. I can see that would be
on the internet in the early 90s. This is what she was working off of. Yes.
Oh, this is a page from a book.
Yeah.
It says signed Galen. So.
Oh, okay. There you go. And last but not least, Mamoru.
Oh, the way that boys express emotions in anime is different than girls. So this is going to be a tough one.
Yes.
Well, aloof, critical, and indecisive. Well, although we already did Ray was AB. Here's what I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say that he is... What was Usagi?
Usagi is O.
O. He's not shy. So I'm going to say he's B. My reasoning... Because he's not A, and A goes with O. A and B go with O for a romantic match.
Unfortunately, he is A.
Is A?
Yeah.
He's not shy.
I know. I don't think he's shy either.
My case rests for the 1,000th time. It doesn't make any sense.
Right. I don't really understand why he's A, besides he's intense.
Well, he is intense. That's true.
But other than that, and maybe he's earnest, but...
He's not earnest at all.
You don't think so? Well, yeah, that's true.
Whose blood does he have? You give it back.
He took somebody else's blood just so he could be blood type A, the most common one. I don't know.
They're all moon people anyway. It doesn't make any sense.
Right? I know. Unfortunately, blood type harassment is a very real phenomenon. This is referred to as bura-hara in Japanese, which is wasei-eigo, which are Japanese language phrases based on English words or sections of word combinations that do not exist in conventional English, or whose definitions vary from the terms from which they are derived. Linguistics classify them as pseudo-loanwords. So
this seems like an important concept.
It is. We can come back to it another time. But bura-hara is an amalgamation of blood and harassment. Huh. And it has been the cause of bullying of children and loss of job possibilities.
Whoa. Okay. So is this like gingers have no souls type thing?
Kind of, yeah. It can be seen that way,
shame,
or in a similar vein, right?
That they don't have souls.
It's not true.
Okay, I know.
Although each blood type has positive and negative traits associated with it, some traits are valued higher by Japanese society, and some blood types seem to only be recognized for their negative traits. Those who have blood type B and blood type AB, which makes up 20% and 10% of the Japanese population, respectively, are the most often discriminated against groups. Blood types have been utilized for job recruitment and school entrance exams, even though businesses have been advised by the government to cut questions about blood types in job applications and interviews. The issue still persists. If you interview for a Japanese business, it is important to remember you do not have to answer those questions. You can just say that you don't know what your blood type is. Yeah.
That's what it is. Mamoru was born into privilege, but he had AB blood. So they went out and got some poor kids A blood, and that's how they fixed that problem.
He didn't want to experience bura-hara.
No. He was in a car crash.
He was.
But there was a clause in his medical insurance. The finest hospitals. They said if he ever loses all his blood, get him some A blood. So now he's got A blood.
Well, AB blood is because it's the rarest in Japan.
They drained out all the B. He's just A's left.
That's what it is. That has to be it. That's the only solution that makes sense. Ichidakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? No food again.
Yeah.
In this episode, unfortunately.
I hope we go back to food someday.
I do too. Villain gauge, we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The Cardian for this episode is...
Well, okay, so it's probably good. It's like, again, it's the rhotic sound or whatever that doesn't,
Falion.
Yeah, it's like, I've seen it spelled Farion, like Falion.
Yeah, I think I've seen it most commonly the Phalion.
Okay.
But I have seen it a couple of different ways. So
Tarot.
Yes, and we'll get to it.
Yeah. Sorry. Let me get the stickers out again.
Hey, stop rewarding yourself stickers.
Is this
you
too much?
Can't. Okay, I'm calling BS right here.
There's like 95 stickers.
You can't hold the stickers.
I got Usagi.
Yeah,
she's bending over to get a quarter.
You can't hold the stickers and then reward yourself with stickers.
All right. Well, the stickers will come back. We'll see more stickers.
For you. I don't like this game.
Tell me about Fallon.
Oh my gosh. So for whatever reason, there is not a lot of information out there on the meaning behind Fallon's name. To me, the second part of her name is very recognizable as lion in English. So I tried to look up and see what the PHA might mean. One possibility is the prefix PHE in Greek means dark, so dark lion. But more possibilities in a little bit. So why does Fallon have a wheel? The character is a reference to the Wheel of Fortune tarot card, which is one of the major arcana tarot deck in the tarot deck.
Right.
The Wheel of Fortune card is about fortune, success, or destiny. It can also indicate change in fortune, either positive or negative. That's just the basic interpretation of the card. The card has been designed after the medieval concept of Rota Fortunae.
Rota Fortunae.
Rota Fortunae, the wheel of the Latin goddess Fortuna.
I made Rota Fortunae to go with the chicken libra that I made before.
Very, very nice. I like that. I like what you did there. Fortuna spins the wheel randomly, altering the position of those individuals on the wheel. Some experience great tragedy. Others have great strokes of luck. Images on the Wheel of Fortune card typically show a 6 or 8 spoked wheel. In this episode, we see an 8 spoked wheel, and it's frequently accompanied or crested by an individual, sometimes a human, sometimes a sphinx-like half-human. So,
like on top of it? Whoa!
Yeah, like cresting it. So,
yes, cresting. But does that mean standing on top of it?
Yeah, well, like kind of like floating in the air.
Okay,
on top
all
of
right.
it. Yeah.
But the wheel floats above Falion.
Yes.
Falion.
Yes. But later we see her cresting the wheel before she turns back into the card.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So since Sphinx is a mythical creature that is typically depicted as having the head of a human and the body of a lion, as well as the 8-spoked wheel, which we see her crest, this seems pretty obviously that it's a reference to the Wheel of Fortune tarot card, that was the inspiration for this cardian. Also, Ail says, quote, "The spinning wheel that spins one's happiness and misfortune, no one can escape the fate they are dealt." So this got me thinking, even though Fallon was actually inspired by a major arcana tarot card, are all the cardians intended to be manifestations, perhaps stealthily, of major arcana?
You would know better than I.
If so, which cards do you think Vampire and Minotauron best represent? I
don't have the major arcana out in front of me right now.
I have all the options.
We've got the Hierophant, we've got the Tower, we've got the Fool, we've got the Lovers, we have
the Magician,
Fortuna, Neuromancer, you've got Count Zero, Count Dooku, and then, of course, the 5 boroughs of New York City. Staten Island.
Yeah.
Gotham City.
Yeah.
The Moon.
The Moon. Of course, the Moon.
Mole City, full of mole men. And Ames, Iowa.
All right. Okay.
Nobody. I mean, who would the vampire be? Nobody.
I don't know. I have a couple of stabs in the dark, possibly.
All right, hit me.
I think that that vampire might be the tower, as it can represent sudden and destructive change. Wow. So, for 2 months, Usagi has lived a peaceful, normal teenage life until vampire shows up, and then she has to be Sailor Moon
but
again.
if we're just gonna but also like the fool is like can represent going on a journey. So if she's gonna go, why do we know so much about the tarot?
I don't know.
If she's gonna go, on this is the new journey, the pilot or the first episode of the second, we can just do that.
I know
long.
It could be like anything.
This literally has a lion on it and a wheel.
I know. Well, when I looked this up to see if they correlated with other things, all I could find was like a Reddit post from like within the last couple months ago.
This is why this is so dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Why we're doing this, and why your work is some of the toughest on the show, because you have to sift through the well-meaning crap on the internet of people who just want an answer to something.
Yeah.
And when the answer is 23-year-old anime drawer or writer is full of noodles from the conveni, and it's 3 a.m. and he's like, a lion? I don't know. I'm so tired. And that's the answer.
Right.
But you're like, no, there's got to be. I know what it is.
I don't know.
It's the headcanoning of a Star Trek fan.
Like, it might be fun if we assigned like a major arcana to all of the remaining Cardians, but if you don't think so, we don't have to do that.
I don't think that it works, but
okay.
If you want to keep a list somewhere, sure. So vampire, the tower. What else you got? That means that Schickelgruber, Minotaur is what?
So I decided that she is the devil, because which can represent violence and being tempted by the material world. This is maybe a little bit of a stretch. So the Senshi and Naru are invited to go to a TV drama audition. And all of them go, and besides me, who doesn't want to be rude, most of them are likely tempted at the idea of being cast in the show and possibly having a career as an actress and maybe gaining fame and wealth in the process.
Which also, none of them are remotely interested in.
No, I mean, the closest would be Mina or Minako, who is kind of interested in being an idol, but not like an actress.
That's not her show.
So, yeah, I know. Also, this is maybe where I'm getting it the most, and this is very tangential, but Minotauron has horns, a tail, and wears a red outfit. So
I think that would be like the only way that you would
get
it,
okay.
Yeah.
Character design. Not really a lot to say here. She's basically a light pink lion with human-shaped boobs. I mean,
you can't get off of those boobs.
I know. She has a light pink mane and
green eyes.
Yes, and green eyes. And yes, only male lions have manes in real life.
Yes.
But did you know that in the Deke dub, they made the character male, but I don't think that they got rid of the boobs.
Well, how do you get rid of them?
I know, but they're like, it's male. What?
Well,
of the mane?
It growls and it's tough. Yeah, and it has a mane, so obviously it's male and not an otherworldly monster from outer space. Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
Her mane, however, almost looks more like a fur collar, as well as bangs and really long, full, straight hair. And, of course, her claws extend as well. She walks around on all fours most of the time, but can also stand and attack from her hind legs.
And can tear paper by looking at it.
Right. In the original, Falion is only able to say her name, but in the English dub, they are able to speak.
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, but I, however, do not have any lines for you, unfortunately. I mean, Falion is successful in draining energy from some people, and her actions inadvertently severely injure Shinozaki, and he has to have a blood transfusion, but I am not impressed by her that much. So I'm going to give her 1 out of 5 dark stars.
Oh, boy. A monster who single-pointedly knocked out 4/5 of the team. 1 star.
I guess, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
2. Well, look, I'm going to give her... Look, you get a 1 extra star for knocking the entire team out.
Okay, all right. Fair.
And then you forgot about your wheel, I guess. So, boop, wheel.
What about the wheel?
Just the Moonlight Night breaks the wheel.
Oh yeah, the Moonlight Night breaks the wheel.
Break
Yes.
the wheel.
Yes.
Or was that Daenerys? And so knocks the lion out, and then we're good to go.
That's true.
Yeah, just not. I mean, it's like clearly it's a cool kind of design, and it's pops, and it would be repeated a million times for all the different generations of Pokemon,
right.
which haven't been developed yet. That's like the 96 or something when the Pocket Monsters come out.
Yeah.
So this is ahead of that, but yeah, I don't know. I could see if it smiled and didn't scowl and was smaller, I could see it being like a pet creature on an anime where it's like, oh, my spirit pet or something. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm trying to.
I could see that.
I'm
too.
trying to flesh out a monster.
You're trying to
that's
make
just
it
a
look
lion.
cooler.
It's just a lion.
It's just a pink lion.
Yeah. Sometimes we have like sentient barber poles. Other times we have it's a lion.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we have Blizzard who is out there and crazy, but at least they were going for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't love it, but they were really going for it.
I would always rate a well done kludge, which is sort of like an oxymoron, over just but it's pink. It's a pink lion.
I know. It's like we changed a couple of things. Here you go.
See me after class.
Yeah, really, seriously.
Yeah, just a 2 for that.
Yeah. For Sabu or Dubu, where we talk about the differences between the sub and the dub. In the dub, the Cardian is unnamed. Also in the dub, Shinozaki is named Ken. Yeah, I don't know. In the dub, when Mako was accused of also wanting test answers from Ami, the part where she embarrassingly holds her hand behind her head and explains herself was cut. Fun fact, putting an open hand behind your head means that you are embarrassed or that the situation is awkward in Japanese body language.
I get this sweat drop stuff.
Yeah.
But like that kind of means that here too.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
But there's a lot of, maybe we'll talk about this at some other time. There's a lot of different body language that means different things in Japan.
I know that.
Yes, pointing at your nose. I know. In the dub, the scene where Usagi and Ami run down a set of stairs to Mako and Shinozaki, as well as the scene where Mako cradles a bloody Shinozaki in her arms as they wait for the ambulance, are cut. Surprisingly, they did not cut the scene where we see a bloody, motionless Shinozaki on the sidewalk. The blood was actually seen.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's so explicit.
I know.
This isn't like, when you get your hand shot through with a crescent beam and there's a little splash and it's a couple frames and you either just cut the frames or you can brown it out like, oh, it's sweat or a piece of his robe or something.
Right.
Like the guy is just lying in a pool of blood.
I know.
Is post-injury blood okay, but like blood coming from an injury not okay?
That is a fantastic question that I don't know the answer to.
Because this is instructive. Like a kid's not going to go, awesome, friend zone fell off a cliff and like cracked his head open.
Yeah.
Like if you just show like, oh yeah, this is what happens, kids. If you fall from something, then you will be laying in a pile of blood.
Yeah, maybe they
and then
felt
a hefty
like
girl will just pump you up.
Wow. Maybe they felt like
Kool-Aid
it's
Man.
instructive because it's like he's seriously hurt. He has to go to the hospital.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I think maybe that is what it is.
Okay.
The dialogue between Ail and An in the beginning, in which An says, quote, "You're the only one I can count on, Ail," and Ail says, quote, "And you as well, An," as we see them embracing their hands, gets changed to Alan saying, quote, "To them, you are my sister," and An saying, "And you're my brother," completely changing the meaning.
You cannot stop doing this, can you, Deke?
I know. You completely changing the meaning and the tone of this interaction in the original that leads up to them sharing a very long, definitely romantic kiss and embrace.
Wait, they kiss in the Deke tub?
No.
Okay.
Because of this dialogue change afterwards, that scene where they kiss was cut. So.
Did this seem post-coital to you?
I didn't get that.
I mean, not intended, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. But it's got kind of, we've seen before when they have the energy, it's a good time. They feel good. Mm-hmm. And they've both
I see what you're saying.
got this stress. I mean, not only do they have to like hunt this planet for energy, but they have to go to school.
Yeah.
They take the test too.
Yeah.
See, like after they do, there's like a little math book open on the tree. So it's like, it's tough, and then they're always fighting each other and there's jealousy and all this. But this is after that, like that couple that like is throwing things, but then it's like, oh, mi amor. And then, like, oh, and the camera pans up to the moon, and afterwards everything's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I hadn't thought about it like that, but that kind of makes...
Who would think about it like that?
Yeah, all right.
Except for me.
But yeah, I think that works.
This is more tender than we've seen them ever.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think also, I don't know, maybe I'm reaching here, but I feel like because they're aliens, I know that they're going to school to junior high school, but I feel like they could be, in reality, they could be an indeterminate age. Like, we don't know that if they really are the same age as them or if they just look like they are.
Sure.
Anyway.
Plus, they can get the magician cardigan to do their homework for them.
Yeah, right. Just pull that one out. In the dub, the song "Not Your Fault" or "Anata no Seijanai," which was, like you said, Mako's image song for the season, was sung by her voice actress, Emi Shinohara. Was replaced with the song "Rainy Day Man" in dub.
Like Bob Dylan?
I will no. I'm guessing
Rainy Day Blues.
I mean, that seems like something that they would like on the show, considering how much they like to add blues to the title. But
Rainy Day Blues.
Kind of like
everybody must get energy.
I like that. Let me just say that Rainy Day Man is more on the nose and a much cheesier ballad.
So they wrote this.
Yeah. Whereas Not Your Fault is more dramatic. So, you went over some of the lyrics for Not Your Fault.
Yeah.
And I will say I do remember the song Rainy Day Man from the dub. But, it's like, okay, it's just really cheesy. Here are some of the lyrics. A rainy day, man, when I think about the first time, I thought I found someone who cared for me, but things were not as they appeared to be. Rainy day, man, on your shoulder, I cried. It's just, yeah, it's, I'll post some YouTube videos of the different versions on our Facebook page, and you can take a listen and figure out which one you have a preference towards. So there you go. In the dub, the scene where Mako explains a little more about her relationship with Shinozaki, it is cut where Usagi asks Mako if they are in love, and Ami chastises her, and Mako says that Shinozaki might be more dear to her than a boyfriend. So they cut that part for some reason, which I think that's really important and should not have been cut. So there is a dialogue change in the dub that might actually make more sense in accordance with what is actually going on. At the end of the scene where Usagi is drawing pictures of her and Mamoru, she thinks to herself in the original, Mako, I hope Shinozaki gets better soon. In the dub, Serena's thought is, I've got to get Darien his memories back. I do, however, really like the original too, because even though Usagi's obviously thinking about Mamoru, she's thinking about her friend as well. And that's very typical Usagi.
Yeah. And not math homework.
Right, exactly.
Or test.
In the dub, the scene after Mercury tells Usagi to hurry, in which Usagi complains about not knowing what is going on, and then Sailor Mars yells at her to hurry up or they will leave her. That is cut, unfortunately, because that's a great little bit of humor. In the dub, the Moonlight Knight says, "Monster from the Negaverse, I banish you," which... Yeah, in the original, they are pretty sure at this point that Ail and An are definitely not part of the Negaverse or the Dark Kingdom. In the original, the Moonlit Knight says to Sailor Moon that when the time is right, they will be able to talk, and that he is looking forward to that. In the dub, the Moonlight Knight says the only thanks that he needs was to see Sailor Moon smile, which I am not a fan of at all. So, before we get to where we rate the episode, would you like to take a moment to talk about the Moonlight Knight?
I don't. Yeah, I could talk forever about the Moonlight Knight.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Other than, we need a new gimmick. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way that Tuxedo Mask is gone forever, although I think it's interesting, and I know, I can be a real spoiler with my cutting analysis that gets right to the end and skips to the end.
Are you going for another
sticker? We only
sticker?
have so many stickers.
Yeah.
But, if this is a thing where he's kind of free of this sort of gesh, Geas, look it up, where he needs to be near or protect, Usagi / Serenity, and he has no, I guess he never really did, but he has no memory of, like, who he is, his origins. Like, we talked about the reason why he wears, why he puts on
the mask.
The tux.
Yeah.
And so if he's apart from all that, but he still contains this heroic instinct and these innate powers, then he's got to come up with something else.
Right.
And maybe he was like, if we find out that a nurse read him Arabian Nights in the hospital, I'm going to be real mad. I'll tell you that right now. But I like the idea that it's almost something kind of random or just something that is in a romantic style. So, the romantic leading men of Hollywood wore tuxedos and had their hair slicked back or whatever. And now we're taking it maybe a little farther back into like the days of the great lover Valentino and the silent era of the silver screen.
Right.
So it all follows. It's all romantic. It all works. And unlike other things, I don't need a real deep explanation for it, but I don't know. Then we'll find out that there's the moon, but there's also a satellite. That's the Sultan satellite or something. I got to be careful when we do stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, he is a white knight.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I thought of. It's interesting because it's like with the Moonlight Knight is, I don't hate him. I don't spend a lot of time thining about him.
Well, that tells me about how long he'll be sticking around. Negative spoilers.
Sorry, I'm not trying to give spoilers.
That's a negative spoiler.
Okay.
So I'll take over.
Okay.
I haven't talked that much about comic books in this episode. Let me just drop in the literal Moon Knight from Marvel Comics.
Oh, yeah, right.
He's getting his own TV show. Maybe. We'll see.
Supposedly,
coming
yes.
up.
Yeah,
And
Disney Plus.
I think it's kind of cool because he is also appropriating Egyptian culture or like Arab
I didn't
culture.
realize that.
He's just a white guy who
Okay.
Who dresses up and claims the power of the Egyptian god Khonshu. And the parallel here is that he is also something of an amnesiac, and he is not in his right mind necessarily. He has kind of a split personality.
Yeah.
And so there's we weekly on the show, we speculate on how high the stack of comics is by Nako Takeuchi's bed, but it's real. This is a real thin connection. But I like the idea that like this is, he's lost his memory, but he's still connected to this power, and so he's developed this new personality, which is a very Moon Knight thing to do, of the Moonlight Knight.
Yes. And I do like that you're bringing in the comic book references and that you're doing a positive spin on it, because seeing this as an adult and then knowing I don't think I was bothered by him wearing an Arab costume as a kid when I saw this, but it does kind of bother me as an adult.
Doing anything bad. It's just like,
no,
he's clearly just trying to evoke a culture that he's not connected to at all. That's usually what we don't like about appropriation.
Right.
But if they were going to go fight in a desert and he's like, it's hot out, like throw a turban on. Yeah, of course.
Sure.
But But otherwise, it's fine. I mean, what's he going to be? The lunatic! Like, you know,
No, that sounds horrible.
the Moonlight Knight, like, fits his idiom of
It
the
does.
sort of swashbuckler. So
Yes, and I do like, again, in the same sort of vein of romanticism and everything, that he says adieu
adieu.
when he leaves.
Yes.
So, and I don't have any problem or dissonance that, like, he's dressed in Arab clothes and he says French goodbye.
It doesn't,
That's
it doesn't.
I don't have a problem with that.
It doesn't matter.
No, and I do like that
Why
he
the
throws
castanets play? It makes
right,
no sense.
right. I like that he throws a white rose.
Yeah, right.
We've already seen him throw a red and black when he was evil.
Yeah.
So now we see a white rose.
And then he throws a blue rose in his the monsters get sick
Oh no!
with but that's
What is that?
a glass menagerie joke.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't
All right,
matter.
I should get that.
Forget it. Let's rate it.
All right, let's rate it. I like that this is a Mako story and that Shinozaki is dear to her, dearer than a boyfriend. It's refreshing that she can be good friends with a guy and not be reminded of her senpai, although I did like that you say he was friendzone-chan. I really like that. Anyways, I also really enjoy Usagi's crayon drawings, which I think are actually
Yeah.
pretty good. Someone should tell her that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of about it that I really enjoy from this episode. So I'm going to give it 2 out of 5 roses.
That's fair. I'm going to give it 3. And this is a conditional 3.
Ooh.
And I'll tell you the condition at the end, if I remember. I liked a lot of the things that you liked as well. I like the fleshing out of Mako's character, and also the character bits like Usagi, who's physically is 14, and let's hope like 7/8 years old at this point, but is also mentally and socially possibly somewhat regressed, and so she's doing these crayon drawings of her and her boyfriend. But I like things like that, and I like it when they cut corners, you know? Don't show us transform. We get it. We know what they do. We know what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do all that stuff. Big if, new condition, if it's in service of something. So in an episode like, I'm going to cook you some curry and we're going to try to convince your girlfriend who's going to Africa to not give up on her dreams or whatever, and they don't transform until like the last 5 minutes. Or the You May Know episode where the whole first half is just a chance for Usagi and Mamoru to bond outside of their normal context of you throw a shoe at me, I insult you, that whole thing. Like if we're going to push all that to the end, to the point where we just get to like, and there's a Yoma, and it's dead at the end. That's all fine. But this episode it cuts all those corners for nothing, really. Like it's just a bunch of unconnected little bits. Sure, it's great to get Mako's image song and to just dig in a little bit, but it's just she's giving him blood, and everything's about blood, and the blood's not really important at all, and it's just like it contributes to the realism of it. I guess she's going to give him some blood, but then it seems like she's going to be weak, but doesn't matter. She's fine. So yeah, I don't know. So the reason I'm giving it 3 instead of 2 is if Shirozaki comes back and he's important, you can keep this 3. But if this is just another one-off that we'll never see again, we're going to go back and revisit this.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to invest in you because you're investing in me.
Okay.
But if you're not, screw you.
Okay.
take that number back.
That's fair. My English title is Usagi's Hope, Knight in Moonlight Armor.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's getting kind of close to my territory again.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I like that one. I'm going to kind of steal from the English translation of the Japanese title of the episode, but kind of lose the, cut it down a little bit, and we'll just call it For Whom the White Rose. For Whom the White Rose.
Nice. Okay, I like it. It sounds very classy.
Or For Whomst.
Whomst.
If you're fancy.
Fancy. It's all in swirly handwriting too.
Hula Whomst.
Yeah, right. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 50. Can you believe it? Number 50.
I know.
Usagi no Kiki, Tiara Sado Seizu in Japanese, or Usagi's Crisis, the tiara stops working, the English translation, and the English title, VR Madness.
Yes! Yes! We did it! I can't wait. We've made it to VR.
I know.
The future.
The future.
The year 2000. All right. I can't wait.
I know. Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.